Now, the former Guantanamo detainee Moazzam Begg, who spent nearly 3 years in the infamous US prison without being charged, is now taking legal action for the UK to restore his passport. Well, a British Pakistani, he had been initially detained 2 decades ago on allegations of involvement in terrorist activities, but was released from Guantanamo in 2005. He was detained again, though, by UK police a decade later, but the case against him collapsed. He then applied for a British passport in 2019 and even got one in September of 2021, but it was revoked 4 weeks later. So let's talk more now to Moazzam Begg, who joins us, and we're very grateful. Thanks for your time this afternoon. Just bring us up to date then with your situation, if you can, because we heard that you received a British passport not so long ago, but then it was revoked. Why was that? Were you given any reasons?
Yes, the passport was, when I received it, I was overjoyed. I tweeted out that I'm finally being able to travel, to go and visit people around, to go to my daughter's wedding abroad. And then within 3 weeks, I received a letter. And ironically, this letter I received, which showed a great deal of incompetence, was actually primarily, the cover letter was addressed to a person who'd been convicted in the north of England for passport fraud. And it was dated 2017. Nonetheless, the letter sort of regurgitated and reiterated the reason why my passport had been revoked back in 2013. Even though the government had tried to prosecute me, the charges fell apart. I was declared not guilty, and the police went above and beyond and said Moazzam Begg is innocent. Now, despite all of that, the fact that they issued my passport eventually after 8 years of waiting and then took it away 3 weeks later, with absolutely no explanation at all, shows two things to me. One is a great deal of incompetence, and two is just vindictiveness that has lasted over 20 years. This is all connected to the initial imprisonment in Guantanamo. It hasn't gone away. The harassment continues over these past 2 decades, and this is evidently a part of that.
So, as you mentioned there, you are now going to take legal action. What is the basis then of your case?
So the basis of the case is essentially to say that the government have said that they've been doing reviews and checks, and we're going to ask them what reviews and checks are they that take 8 years for which you issue a passport and then you revoke it afterwards and say you still need to make more checks. Either you haven't done your job properly, or you're deeply incompetent, or you're lying, or you're being vindictive. It's something in relation to that. So we've issued a pre-action letter to the Home Office and to the Passport Office, giving them notice that we will be taking them to court within days if they don't give an explanation and return my passport immediately.
And why is it so important for you to get this passport back?
Well, like with anybody else, they say passport is a privilege, but really, in all honesty, the passport is the most undeniably recognised document of an identity of a person. Nobody will ever challenge you if you say that this is my passport. Never challenge your identity. So when I have to go to places and give identification, I don't have a passport to show people in order for that kind of, those sort of identity checks to take place. And there's a wider discussion as people will say that this passport really is just not, they can't just give it to anybody. But I'm a citizen of this country, like it or dislike it. And my ability, my freedom to travel, to go and visit my daughter who just recently got married and I couldn't go to her wedding, relatives have passed away, and most importantly, investigation work. And I think this is one of the reasons why the government doesn't want me to have a passport. I have been constantly showing that the government has been involved in rendition, torture, detention without trial, and that has been the body of my work for the past 15 years, and they simply just don't like it. And these are the hidden ways of trying to disrupt all of the work that I've been doing. And they've, as I've said, this is now the 3rd time in almost 15 years when my passport has been revoked. The first time was when I came back from Guantanamo. They took it away immediately but gave it back. And then they, as I said, did it again a couple of times.
Sure. And if you don't win this case, this legal case, what are the ramifications for you? Can you stay in Britain? Will you be forced to leave? I mean, what could be the repercussions for you?
Well, no, I'm still a citizen of the UK. That passport is simply something that they can take away from you. It doesn't take away your citizenship. And this is something different because there are many people, a majority of Muslims in the war on terrorism, have had their nationality revoked. And that, again, shows a kind of a two-tier racist system that exists. But for me, no, if I don't win this, I'm still here. The only places I can travel without a passport in this country are within the borders of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. But I have full confidence that we will, because you simply can't show that all of this incompetence is somehow logical or even lawful.
OK, look, Moazzam, we appreciate you coming on to RT this afternoon and explaining your story to us. We do wish you all the best. We have to leave it there. That was Moazzam Begg, a former Guantanamo prisoner.
Thank you.